Hana sat in the back row of the lecture hall and tried to keep her face calm. On the huge screen at the front, Dr. Velis was showing brain scans. The Vryn scientist had 6 legs and eyes that looked like colorful gems. Her voice came through the speakers in perfect human language. "These scans prove it," Dr. Velis said. She pointed at the images with one of her thin legs. "When humans interact with mammals like dogs or cats, their brains light up. They release chemicals that make them feel love and connection. But when humans interact with other types of life, nothing happens. The same parts of their brains stay dark." Hana's hands gripped the edge of her desk. Around her, the other students whispered and took notes. Most of them were aliens from different planets. Some had fur, some had scales, some looked like floating clouds. They all seemed to accept what Dr. Velis was saying. "Humans evolved on a planet with mammals," Dr. Velis continued. "They understand mammal faces. They respond to mammal sounds. But beings made of crystal? Beings made of gas? Beings made of living rock? Humans cannot truly bond with such creatures. They may think they feel connection, but it is false. It is their brain trying to force mammal patterns onto beings that are nothing like mammals." A student raised their wing. "What about humans who claim to love their alien pets?" "Projection," Dr. Velis said firmly. "The human sees what they want to see. They imagine the alien has feelings like a dog or cat, but the alien does not truly understand the human. The bond is one-sided." Hana could not stay quiet anymore. She stood up. "That's wrong." Every head in the room turned to look at her. Dr. Velis's gem-like eyes focused on Hana. "You disagree with my research, young human?" "Yes," Hana said. Her heart was beating fast, but she kept her voice steady. "My father has a sanctuary. He cares for 47 aliens. None of them are mammals. Some are made of crystal. Some are made of gas. One is made of living darkness. And they all love him. It's not one-sided. They care for each other and for him." Dr. Velis made a clicking sound that might have been a laugh. "Your father feeds them, yes? Gives them shelter? Of course they stay near him. That is not love. That is survival behavior. The human sees love because he wants to see it. The aliens simply know where their next meal comes from." "No," Hana said. "You're wrong. My father doesn't just feed them. He learned their languages. All 47 different languages. He can speak in light patterns and pressure changes and ground vibrations. He spent years learning how each one communicates. And they learned too. They can talk to each other now, not just to him." The lecture hall was completely silent. Dr. Velis tilted her head. "Interesting. I would like to visit this sanctuary. I will bring my instruments. We will measure the truth. If I am wrong, I will admit it. But I do not think I am wrong." "Fine," Hana said. "Come see for yourself." After the lecture ended, Hana walked quickly through the station corridors. She needed to call her father and warn him. But before she could reach her room, her communication device beeped. It was a message from the sanctuary. "An emergency." Hana opened the message. Her brother Tai Yang's face appeared on the screen. He was wearing his military uniform and he looked worried. "Hana, something's wrong with Spark. Dad's with him now, but Spark is fading. His light is getting dimmer." "We don't know what's wrong." Hana's stomach dropped. Spark was special to their whole family. Yunyo had found Spark years ago when Hana was still a child. Back then, Spark had been just a small piece of crystal, the only survivor from a destroyed ship. Yunyo had stayed with that tiny crystal for 3 days, talking to it until rescue came. Spark had been part of their family ever since. "I'm coming home," Hana said. "Tell Dad I'm on my way." "There's more," Taeyang said. "All the others are acting strange too. Whisper won't leave Spark's room. Ember stopped eating. Even Void is hovering near Spark's chamber. It's like they know something's wrong." Hana felt tears in her eyes. "That's because they do know. They care about Spark, they're worried." "I know," Taeyang said softly. "I see it too. Just get here fast." Hana ran to the transport station. As she waited for the next ship to Ganymede, she thought about what Dr. Velis had said. The scientists thought human bonds with aliens were fake, but Hana had grown up in that sanctuary. She had seen Junho stay up for days when Whisper was sick. She had watched Ember create beautiful glass sculptures as gifts. She had felt Void's shadow wrap around her when she was sad, like a hug made of darkness. These were not survival behaviors. These were family behaviors. The ship ride to Ganymede took 6 hours. Hana could not sleep. She kept thinking about Spark's light fading. Spark was made of crystal and silicon. His people grew slowly over hundreds of years. When they got sick, it was serious. If Spark's light went completely dark, he would die. When she finally reached the sanctuary, Hana ran through the familiar corridors. The building had been a mining station once, but Junho had changed it completely. Now it had rooms with different environments. Hot rooms for the fire beings, cold rooms for the ice beings, rooms full of water, rooms full of gas, rooms with no air at all. She found her father in Spark's chamber. Junho was sitting on the floor next to Spark's resting platform. Spark's crystal body was usually bright with inner light, shifting through colors like a rainbow. Now he looked dull and gray. Just a faint glow remained in his center. Junho was speaking in the light language that Spark understood. His hands held a special device that created light pulses. "I'm here," he was saying in patterns of light. "You're safe. Remember when I first found you? You were so small, just a little piece of crystal, but you flashed light at me. You said hello. Do you remember?" Spark's dim light pulsed once. Very faint, but it was an answer. "Dad?" Hana said quietly. Junho looked up. His eyes were red from crying, but he smiled when he saw her. "Hana, you came. Of course I came," she said. She knelt down beside him. "How is he?" "Not good," Junho said. "His crystal structure is breaking down somehow. I don't know why. The doctors can't figure it out. All I can do is talk to him. Let him know he's not alone." Hana looked around the room. She could see Whisper through the transparent wall of the next chamber. The gas being was pressed against the barrier, colors swirling slowly. Watching. Waiting. In the thermal room beyond, Ember's usual bright glow was dim too. "Not sick, just sad. They're all worried about him," Hana said. "They're family," Junho said simply. "This is what family does," Hana told her father about Dr. Velis in the lecture, about how the scientist wanted to visit. Junho listened and nodded slowly. "Let her come," he said. "Maybe she needs to see this. Maybe she needs to understand that love isn't about biology. It's about choice." Just then, something strange happened. Spark's light suddenly pulsed brighter. Not much, but enough to notice. At the same moment, all around the sanctuary, the aliens went completely still. The building became absolutely silent. No humming from Whisper. No rumbling from Ember. No gravitational whispers from Void. Nothing. "What's happening?" Hana whispered. Junho stood up slowly. He had been around aliens long enough to know when something was wrong. "They sense something," he said. "Something we can't detect yet. Something's coming." Taeyang's voice came through the communication system. "Dad, we're picking up a ship approaching Ganymede, fast. It's not responding to our calls." Junho and Hana looked at each other. Then they looked at Spark, who was pulsing light in a pattern Hana had never seen before. A warning pattern, a pattern that meant danger. And in that moment, Hana realized that Dr. Velis was going to get her visit to the sanctuary much sooner than anyone had planned. But now there was something else coming too, something that would test everything Junho had built, something that would prove once and for all whether the bonds between her father and his 47 children were real. Dr. Velis arrived at the sanctuary 3 hours after the unknown ship had been detected. Her research team carried boxes of equipment through the corridors. The Vrin scientist's gem eyes took in everything around her with careful attention. "Impressive," she said, looking at the modified mining station. "You have created specialized environments for many different life types. The engineering alone must have taken years." 15 years, Junho said. He was still tired from staying up all night with Spark, but he walked beside Dr. Velis with quiet dignity. "Each room is designed for a specific being, or sometimes for a group of beings with similar needs." They stopped at a large, transparent wall. Beyond it was a chamber filled with swirling colored mists. Whisper lived there, the gas being moved through their environment like living smoke, shifting from blue to purple to green. When they saw Junho, the colors brightened and Whisper pressed against the transparent barrier. "This is Whisper," Junho said. He placed his hand on the wall. On the other side, Whisper formed a cloud shape that matched the size of Junho's hand. "I found them 15 years ago. Their home planet was being destroyed by mining operations. The gas that made up their atmosphere was being harvested. Whisper was just a juvenile lost and alone." Dr. Velis set up a scanner. "How does it communicate?" Through pressure changes and bioluminescence, Junho explained. Whisper can create specific patterns of density in their body. It took me 2 years to learn the language. But once I did, we could really talk. What do you talk about? Dr. Velis asked. Her tone suggested she did not really believe they talked at all. Everything, Junho said. Whisper tells me about memories from their home world, about how their people would dance through storms together, about missing the taste of specific gases that don't exist anymore. And I tell Whisper about Earth, about rain and oceans, things I miss too. As if understanding the conversation, Whisper began to glow in a specific pattern. Hunya watched and smiled sadly. Whisper is asking about Spark, wants to know if he's okay. Dr. Velis's equipment beeped. She looked at the readings with surprise. Interesting. When you spoke about Spark, this being's molecular vibration changed. It could be a response to your emotional state, or... She trailed off, looking uncertain for the first time. Or Whisper is actually worried about Spark, Hana said. She had been following quietly, but now she stepped forward. Because they're friends. They moved through the sanctuary, meeting the other residents. Ember lived in a pool of molten rock that glowed red and orange, the thermophilic being communicated through vibrations in the liquid stone. When Junho approached, Ember sent ripples through the lava that made specific patterns. Ember is greeting you, Junho told Dr. Velis. That pattern means welcome. Ember had been rescued from a mining accident. A drilling machine had broken through into a lava chamber where Ember's people lived. Most of them had died from the sudden temperature changes and toxic fumes. Junho had designed special equipment to extract the survivors. Only Ember had been strong enough to make the journey to the sanctuary. Along one wall of Ember's chamber were beautiful glass sculptures. Dozens of them in different colors and shapes. Ember makes these, Junho said with pride. By rapidly cooling pieces of stone. They're gifts. Dr. Velis examined the sculptures. Why would a thermophilic organism create gifts? Because Ember wants to, Junho said simply. At first I thought the cooling stone was just waste material. But then I noticed patterns. Ember was making shapes. Beautiful shapes. When I showed appreciation, Ember made more. Now there's a whole collection. In a chamber that appeared to be empty, Void resided. The dark matter entity was hard to see. It appeared as a moving shadow, a darkness that had shape but no substance that normal matter could touch. Void existed partially in another dimension, only appearing in this reality as an absence of light. This one makes me uncomfortable, Dr. Velis admitted. Her scanners could barely detect Void at all. How do you even know it's alive? Because Void talks to me, Junho said. He held up a device that measured gravitational fluctuations. Through changes in gravity, very subtle changes, Void's people don't use light or sound or pressure. They use the fundamental forces of physics. The shadow moved across the chamber toward Junho. It positioned itself between Junho and a bright light on the ceiling. See, Junho said. Void knows bright lights hurt my eyes. So Void creates shade for me. That's not survival behavior. That's caring behavior. Dr. Velis's instruments showed something she had not expected. When Junho interacted with each alien, his brain activity was unusual. The parts of his brain that normally responded to mammal faces were active, but they were processing different information. Light patterns, pressure changes, vibration frequencies. Somehow, Junho's neural pathways had adapted to treat these alien signals the same way a normal human brain treats a smile or a laugh. This is remarkable, Dr. Velis said quietly. Your brain has physically changed. You have rewired your mirror neurons to empathize with completely alien forms of expression. I had to, Junho said. If I wanted to understand them, if I wanted to really connect, I had to learn their languages on a deep level. Not just translate words, but feel what they feel. They finally reached Spark's chamber. The crystalline being was still dim, but his light was a little stronger than before. Around his room, visible through various windows and openings, many of the other sanctuary residents had gathered. Whisper's chamber connected to Spark's through a shared wall. Ember's lava pool was visible below. Void's shadow stretched across the ceiling. A fungal collective called Chorus had spread their small bodies around the edges of the room. They are all here, Dr. Velis observed. Watching over this one. They have been here since Spark got sick, Junho said. Each one in their own way, keeping watch, offering comfort. Dr. Velis set up her most sophisticated scanner. For the next hour, she measured everything. Brain waves, molecular vibrations, gravitational fluctuations, pressure changes, electromagnetic patterns. She recorded interactions between Junho and the aliens, between the aliens and each other, between the aliens and Spark. What she found shocked her. The aliens were not just responding to Junho. They were responding to each other. Whisper's pressure changes caused specific vibrations in Ember's lava. Those vibrations made Spark pulse light. That light created shadows that Void could modulate into gravitational patterns. The patterns affected Chorus's growth directions, and all of it formed a communication network. They are talking to each other, Dr. Velis said in amazement. Not through you, directly to each other. They have learned multiple alien languages. Yes, Junho said. That is what happens when you bring people together and give them time. They find ways to connect. Biology does not matter. What matters is the choice to understand. Dr. Velis was quiet for a long time. She reviewed her data again and again. Finally, she said, I need to propose a test, a controlled experiment, to truly prove these bonds are real and not just learned behaviors based on resource dependency. What kind of test? Hana asked suspiciously. You must leave, Dr. Velis said to Junho, for 72 hours. Go to another station. Have no contact with the sanctuary. If the bonds are real, the aliens will show measurable distress. If they are merely resource dependent, they will function normally as long as their needs are met. Junho looked around at his family. At Spark, still weak. At Whisper, colors swirling nervously. At Ember and Void and Chorus and all the others. I do not want to leave them when Spark is sick. 3 days, Dr. Velis pressed. That is all. My team will care for them. We will monitor everything. If distress becomes too severe, we will call you back immediately. But I need this data. The galaxy needs this data. If I can prove that humans can truly bond with non-mammals, it will change everything about how we understand connection and consciousness. Junho looked at Hana. She nodded slowly. Maybe it's important, Dad. Maybe people need to see the truth. All right, Junho finally agreed. 72 hours. But I want constant updates. And if anything happens to Spark or any of them, I come back immediately. Agreed, Dr. Velis said. That evening, Junho prepared to leave. He went to each resident and explained what was happening. To Whisper through pressure patterns, to Ember through vibrations, to Void through gravity, to Spark through light. He told them he would return soon. That they were safe, that he loved them. When he finally left the sanctuary, Hana watched the aliens carefully. For the first few minutes, everything seemed normal. Then slowly changes began. Whisper's colors dimmed. Ember's temperature dropped slightly. Void's shadow contracted. Spark's light pulsed in a pattern that Hana recognized. It was the pattern for sadness. And outside, unknown to anyone in the sanctuary, the mysterious ship continued its approach to Ganymede. Its crew had one target, one very specific target, and they were willing to do anything to capture it. 24 hours after Junho left, Dr. Velis's instruments showed what Hana already knew in her heart. Every single one of the 47 aliens was in distress. Spark's light had dimmed by 40%. The crystalline being had moved to face the airlock where Junho had departed, and had not moved since. Whisper had contracted into a tight dark cloud that barely shifted. Ember's temperature had dropped so low that the lava around the thermophile had begun to harden at the edges. Void's shadow had expanded, wrapping protectively around Junho's empty quarters. This is impossible, Dr. Velis muttered, checking her data again. These are species from completely different evolutionary trees. They should not all show the same behavioral response to the absence of a human. But they are not showing the same response, Hana pointed out. She had been watching all night, taking notes. Each one is responding in their own species-specific way. Spark is doing what Lithons do when they grieve. Whisper is doing what ether beings do when they feel threatened. Ember is exhibiting thermophilic depression. These are genuine emotional responses, not learned behaviors. Dr. Velis sat back. Her gem eyes reflected the monitoring screens. If this is real, if these bonds are genuine, then everything I have published is wrong. Everything the scientific community believes about human-alien bonding is wrong. Not wrong, Hana said. Just incomplete. You were right that humans do not naturally bond with non-mammals, but you missed something important. My father did not bond naturally. He chose to bond. He spent years learning. He changed himself. That is what makes humans special. Not that we can love anything, but that we are willing to do the hard work to love anything. A message came through from Junho. He was at a research station 2 hours away. How are they? His face on the screen looked worried and tired. He had clearly not been sleeping. They miss you, Hana said honestly. But they are okay. We are taking care of them. Tell them I will be home soon, Junho said. Tell them I love them. After the call ended, Hana went to each resident and relayed Junho's message in their respective languages. She was not as fluent as her father, but she had grown up learning the basics of each communication method. When she told Spark that Junho sent love, Spark's light pulsed a little brighter. Just a little. But it was something. 48 hours into the experiment, something remarkable happened. All 47 aliens began moving toward the sanctuary's central chamber. Each one in their own way, through their own habitat zones. They arranged themselves in a circle around the open space. What are they doing? Dr. Velis asked. She and her team rushed to set up cameras and scanners. I think they are gathering, Hana said. Like a meeting. Then the aliens began to communicate. Not with the humans, with each other. Spark pulsed patterns of light. Whisper created specific pressure changes. Ember sent vibrations through the floor. Void modulated gravitational fields. Chorus split and reformed in precise sequences. A methane being named Flow released careful chemical messages. A crystalline serpent called Prism reflected and refracted the lights in meaningful ways. All 47 species, each using their unique form of communication, were creating something together. A symphony of alien languages all happening at once. Dr. Velis's translation computers worked frantically to decode the patterns. After several minutes, text began appearing on the screens. The aliens were checking on each other, asking if the others were okay, offering comfort, sharing concern. Spark asked Whisper if Whisper was eating enough. Whisper asked Ember if Ember needed anything. Ember asked Void if Void was scared. Void asked Chorus if Chorus was holding together well. And on, through all 47 beings. They learned each other's languages, Dr. Velis whispered. Not just the humans' language. They learned to talk to each other. That is what Dad taught them, Hana said, tears in her eyes. Not just to connect with him, but to connect with each other. He built a family. A real family. Just then, alarms began blaring throughout the sanctuary. Red lights flashed. Taeyang's voice came over the communication system, urgent and tense. Hana, that ship is here. It is landing outside. Dr. Velis ran to the security monitors. A large vessel had settled on the ice surface of Ganymede, just beyond the sanctuary's outer wall. Figures in armored suits were emerging. They carried weapons and containment equipment. Raiders, Taeyang said, appearing on the screen. He was in the security center, his military training obvious in his calm efficiency. Kesh mercenaries. I recognized the ship design. They hunt exotic life forms for sale. What do they want? Hana asked, though she had a terrible feeling she already knew. Scanning their communication, Taeyang said. His face went pale as he read the translation. They are here for Void. Dark matter entities can be used as living batteries for certain weapons. They are worth billions on the black market. Hana looked at the central chamber. Void's shadow had moved to the center of the circle of aliens. The dark matter being seemed to understand what was happening. The shadow contracted, making itself smaller. Defensive. We need to evacuate, Dr. Velis said. My team is not equipped for combat. We must get the research data to safety. We cannot leave them, Hana said firmly. The sanctuary's defenses are minimal, Taeyang said. Your father never wanted this place to feel like a fortress. I can seal some doors, but these are professional raiders. They will get through. Hana tried to call Junho, but communications were jammed. The raiders were blocking all signals. They did not want anyone calling for help. How long until they breach the outer door? Ashi asked. 10 minutes, Taeyang said. Maybe less. Hana turned back to the central chamber. The 47 aliens had not scattered in panic. They had not hidden. Instead, they remained in their circle. And as Hana watched, they began to move in coordinated patterns. Spark brightened, sending specific light codes. Whisper expanded, flowing toward the outer corridors. Ember's temperature began rising again. Void's shadow spread across multiple chambers. What are they doing? Dr. Velis asked. They are preparing to fight, Hana said in amazement. They are going to defend their home. Defend each other. Defend Void. That is suicide, Dr. Velis said. They are scientists and refugees, not soldiers. They are family, Hana corrected. And this is what family does. The first explosion rocked the sanctuary as the raiders breached the outer door. Hana felt the vibration through the floor. Time was running out. She ran to the communication panel and tried one more time to reach her father. Static. Just static. Then she remembered something. The aliens could communicate across the sanctuary through their interconnected language network. If she could not call Junho, maybe they could. Spark, she called out. Can you send a message? To all of you? Tell them to call for Junho, in every language. Maybe one signal will get through the jamming. Spark pulsed understanding. Then all 47 aliens began broadcasting at once. Light signals, pressure waves, seismic vibrations, gravitational pulses, chemical markers, electromagnetic patterns. Every form of communication, all calling out at maximum strength. A chorus of alien voices crying for help. And somewhere, 2 hours away, Junho's ship received a strange reading. Multiple anomalous signals all originating from Ganymede. His instruments could not decode them properly. But Junho did not need instruments. He knew his family's voices. All 47 of them. Without hesitation, he changed course and pushed his ship's engines to maximum. I am coming, he said aloud, even though no one could hear him yet. Hold on. I am coming home. Back at the sanctuary, the raiders breached the second door. They were inside now. Taiyang sealed the corridor behind them, but it would only slow them down. Hana could hear their heavy footsteps echoing through the metal hallways. Getting closer, the 47 aliens shifted into position. Spark and the other crystalline beings moved to the solar panels. Whisper flowed into the ventilation systems. Ember and the thermophiles heated the corridors. Void expanded through multiple chambers. Chorus spread out as sentries. They were not warriors, but they were family, and they would not let their home be taken. They would not let Void be captured. Not without a fight. As the first raider stepped into view, Hana realized something profound. Dr. Velis had come here to test whether humans could truly bond with non-mammals. But now they were all about to discover something even more important. They were about to discover what those bonds meant when tested by fire. The first raider to enter the inner sanctuary was a Kesh mercenary named Skarn. He was large, covered in gray scales with cold yellow eyes. Behind him came 5 more raiders, all armed and armored. They moved with the confidence of professionals who had done this many times before. Spread out, Skarn ordered his team. Find the dark matter entity. Containment team, prepare the field generators. Science team says the creature should be in the central chamber. They advanced down the corridor, weapons ready. Then the first wave of defense hit them. Whisper had filled the corridor with dense, pressurized gas. The raiders suddenly found themselves wading through air as thick as water. Their movement slowed. Their sensors malfunctioned. Some kind of atmospheric attack, one raider reported. Switching to internal air supply. As they adjusted, the second wave came. Spark and 3 other crystalline beings had positioned themselves near the lighting panels. They suddenly released all the solar energy they had been storing, creating blinding beams of focused light. The raiders' visors automatically darkened, but for crucial seconds they could not see. In those seconds, Void struck. The dark matter entity extended gravitational fields that pulled at the raiders' feet, making them stumble. One raider fell, completely, his heavy armor making it hard to get up in the increased gravity. They are fighting back, Skarn said with surprise in his voice. The creatures are organized. This is not random panic. The raiders pressed forward, but now they moved more carefully. They reached a junction where the corridor split into 3 paths. Chorus, the fungal collective, had spread across all 3 paths. Each small part of Chorus was positioned to observe, and the collective was sharing information instantly about which route the raiders would take. When the raiders chose the left path, Flow released methane gas into that corridor. A spark from damaged wiring ignited the gas. The explosion was small but effective. It damaged the raiders' equipment and forced them back. New route, Skarn ordered. Center corridor. Watch for more traps. The center corridor led past Ember's chamber. As the raiders approached, the floor beneath them began to glow red. Ember had superheated the metal from below. The raiders' boots began to smoke. Temperature alarms blared inside their suits. "Keep moving," Skarn shouted. "The heat will only get worse if we stay still." They ran through the heated section and emerged into a large open area. Prism, the crystalline serpent, had created a maze of mirrors using her reflective body. The raiders saw dozens of reflections of themselves, of the aliens, of the chambers around them. They could not tell what was real and what was reflection. Hana watched all of this from the security center. "They are working together," she said in amazement. "Each alien is using their abilities in sequence like they planned it." "They did plan it," Taeyang said. He was monitoring the alien communication channels. Chorus is coordinating everything, passing messages between all of them. They are acting like a single unit with 47 different abilities. Dr. Velis was frantically recording everything. "This is unprecedented. Multiple species with completely different biologies, coordinating complex strategies in real time. This requires abstract thinking, cooperation, and mutual trust at levels I did not think possible across such biological barriers." But the raiders were professionals. They adapted. They used thermal imaging to see through the mirror maze. They deployed cooling systems to counter the heat. They moved as a tight unit to minimize exposure to gravity manipulation. Slowly, methodically, they advanced toward the central chamber where Void waited. "We cannot stop them," Hana said desperately. "The aliens are slowing them down, but the raiders are getting through." Skarn and his team finally reached the central chamber. They spread out, weapons aimed at the shadow in the center of the room. Void was there, contracted into a small, dense point of darkness. Around Void, all 47 aliens had gathered, each in their own way. Creating a circle of protection. "Stand down," Skarn said through his suit's external speakers. "The dark matter entity is valuable property. It is coming with us. The rest of you will not be harmed if you do not interfere." None of the aliens moved. Sparks' light pulsed in a defiant pattern. Whisper's colors shifted to angry reds. Ember's vibrations became aggressive. The message was clear. They would not let Void be taken. "Impressive loyalty," Skarn said. "But pointless. You are animals. Valuable animals, but animals. You cannot stop us." He signaled his team. "Deploy containment field." The raiders activated devices that created a special energy field designed to trap dark matter entities. The field began to form around Void. The shadow entity tried to resist, but the field was too strong. Void was being pulled toward the containment device. Then something happened that no one expected. All 47 aliens acted at the exact same moment. Spark and the crystalline beings released energy. Whisper created massive pressure changes. Ember caused seismic vibrations. Flow released specific chemicals. Chorus connected them all. And Void, instead of fighting the containment field alone, channeled all of that combined energy. The result was a feedback pulse that overloaded the raiders' equipment. Visors cracked. Sensors failed. The containment field collapsed. And in that moment of chaos, Junho's voice echoed through the sanctuary's communication system. He was not shouting commands or calling for them to fight. Instead, he spoke calmly in 47 different languages. Light pulses for Spark, pressure patterns for Whisper, seismic codes for Ember, gravitational rhythms for Void, chemical signals for Flow, growth directions for Chorus. On and on to each of his family, Junho said the same thing in their own language. "I am coming home. Wait for me. You are not alone." The effect was immediate and profound. The aliens did not become more aggressive. They became more coordinated. They stopped fighting like cornered creatures and started fighting like a family protecting their home. Their movements synchronized, their abilities combined in ways that were more than the sum of their parts. Spark's light patterns matched exactly with Void's gravitational pulses. Whisper's pressure waves carried Ember's heat signatures to precise locations. Flow's chemicals reacted with Chorus's spores to create barriers. Prism's reflections amplified Spark's light into dozens of blinding beams. They had become something the galaxy had never seen before. A collective intelligence made of 47, completely different species, each contributing their unique abilities, all connected by one thing: their choice to protect each other. Skarn realized they were in danger. "Fall back," he ordered. "Retreat to the ship. This is not worth it." The raiders withdrew, leaving their damaged equipment behind. As they fled, Junho's ship landed outside the sanctuary. He ran through the corridors, past the scorch marks and damaged walls, until he reached the central chamber. The 47 aliens were still in their protective circle around Void. When they sensed Junho's arrival, the coordinated defense posture broke. Each alien moved toward him in their own way. Spark pulsed bright colors of joy. Whisper swirled in happy patterns. Ember created vibrations that felt like laughter. Void's shadow wrapped gently around Junho's shoulders. Junho stood in the center of his family, tears running down his face. "You are all okay," he said. "You are safe." Hana ran to him. "Dad, they were amazing. They fought together. They protected Void. They protected each other." Dr. Velis approached slowly. Her gem eyes were dim with exhaustion, but she held her datapad firmly. "I was wrong," she said quietly. "About everything. These bonds are not just real. They are powerful. More powerful than I imagined possible." Junho looked at her. "The bonds are real because we chose to make them real. Biology does not create family. Choice creates family. Time creates family. Understanding creates family. My children are not mammals, but they are my children." Outside, the raider ship was leaving Ganymede's orbit. Inside the ship, Skarn sent a message to his network. "Mark that location as protected. The human has 47 defenders, and they fight like nothing I have ever seen. Not worth the risk." But the message went further than Skarn intended. It spread through the black market networks. It reached other sanctuaries forming across the galaxy. And it reached the Galactic Council, where politicians were about to learn that everything they thought they knew about humans and aliens was about to change forever. 3 months after the raider attack, Hana stood before the Galactic Council. The enormous chamber held representatives from hundreds of worlds. Some had fur, some had scales, some were clouds of gas, some were living crystal. Junho sat beside her, and behind them on screens were live feeds from 47 different chambers in the sanctuary. Each of Junho's family was watching. The council speaker, a being made of flowing water held together by force fields, addressed the chamber. "We are here to discuss the incident at the Haven Sanctuary. More specifically, we are here to discuss what it means that humans can apparently form genuine bonds with non-mammalian species. Dr. Velis, you have submitted new research. Please present your findings." Dr. Velis stood. "I came to the sanctuary 3 months ago to prove that human bonds with non-mammals were impossible. I was wrong. I have documented evidence of genuine emotional connection between a human and 47 different alien species. But more importantly, I documented those aliens forming bonds with each other. This human did not just create relationships. He created a family. He created a community." She showed footage from the raider attack. The council watched in silence as the aliens coordinated their defense. Many representatives leaned forward with interest when they saw species from their own worlds working together with completely alien beings. "How is this possible?" asked a reptilian counselor. "These species have nothing in common. Their biologies are completely different. They should not be able to understand each other at all." "They learned," Junho said simply. "Just as I learned. I spent years studying each species' communication methods, learning their languages, understanding their needs, and I created an environment where they could do the same with each other. Biology does not matter when you are willing to do the work of understanding." A gaseous counselor whose species was similar to Whisper's spoke up. "But humans are known for anthropomorphizing, for seeing emotions and intentions in things that do not have them. How do we know these aliens truly reciprocate the bond? How do we know they are not simply responding to stimuli? Because they defend each other," Hana said. "Not just my father. Each other. When Void was in danger, Spark fought to protect him. Whisper helped. Ember helped. All of them helped. That is not stimulus response. That is choice. That is love. At that moment, a message came through from the frontier. It was Taeyang calling from planet Callista 9. Council, I have urgent news. We have made first contact with a colony of silicates here. They are a crystalline species similar to the Lithons. With the help of Spark, we have been able to communicate with them. They are asking to join the galactic community. They have culture, language, art, and history. They are a civilization that we almost mistook for mineral deposits. The feed switched to show Taeyang standing beside a large crystalline being. The being pulsed light in complex patterns. Spark, appearing on another screen from the sanctuary, pulsed light back. They were talking. This is Echo, Taeyang said, the eldest of the silicate colony. Echo and Spark are relatives. They come from the same original colony, separated hundreds of years ago. Echo says that their people have tried to contact the galaxy before, but no one understood their language. Until now, the council chamber erupted in discussion. The implications were enormous. How many other species had the galaxy overlooked because their communication methods were too alien to recognize? The council speaker called for order. This is indeed significant. But we must return to the original question. What do we do about this situation? Current galactic law treats non-mammalian species as secondary citizens in human majority systems, based on the assumption that humans cannot properly understand or care for them. That law was based on my research, Dr. Velis said. Research that I now know was incomplete. I propose we revoke those laws. More than that, I propose we establish a new initiative, a program to teach different species how to communicate with each other, to build bridges across biological barriers. And who would lead such a program? Asked an insectoid counselor. Humans? So they can claim to be the great connectors of the galaxy? So they can put themselves at the center of everything again? Junho stood. Not just humans. All species. I am not special because I am human. I am just someone who chose to try. Anyone can do what I did. It takes time and effort, but anyone can learn. The sanctuary should not be a human-led program. It should be a place where all species come to learn from each other. My people would participate, said the gaseous counselor. If Whisper can teach us how they learn to communicate with crystalline and thermophilic species, it would benefit our world greatly. The Lithon worlds would send representatives, another counselor added. Learning that silicates are a sentient civilization changes everything for us. We have mining operations on several silicate worlds. We must stop immediately and make contact properly. One by one, counselors from different species spoke up. They all wanted to learn. They all wanted to participate. The council voted and the decision was unanimous. The Cross-Species Understanding Initiative was established. The Haven Sanctuary would become the first official site, but it would be run by a council of multiple species. Humans, Vrin, Lithons, ether beings, Magmars, and more. There is one more thing, the council speaker said. Several of the residents at the Haven Sanctuary have expressed interest in becoming ambassadors. Specifically, Spark wishes to travel to Callista 9 to help integrate the silicate colony into galactic society. This would be the first time one of Junho's family has chosen to leave. How do you feel about this, Junho? Junho looked at the screen showing Spark. The crystalline being pulsed a pattern that meant hope and excitement. I feel proud, Junho said, his voice thick with emotion. Spark is not leaving because they do not love me. Spark is leaving because they love their people and want to help them. That is what I always wanted. For all of them to find their place in the galaxy. You understand that you are not losing one child, Dr. Velis said gently. You are giving the galaxy a gift. Spark will teach others what you taught Spark. The ripples of what you have done here will spread far beyond this one sanctuary. Hana took her father's hand. And I am going with Spark, she said. Taeyang and I are starting a second sanctuary on Callista 9, for the silicates and any other beings who need a home. You taught us well, Dad. Now we are going to teach others. Junho pulled his daughter into a hug. I am so proud of both of you. 6 months later, the galaxy had changed in ways that seemed impossible before. The Haven Sanctuary had expanded, now housing 73 residents from 60 different species. 12 other sanctuaries had opened on different worlds. The Cross-Species Understanding Initiative had trained over 500 ambassadors from 200 species. On Callista 9, Hana's sanctuary was thriving. Spark lived there now, along with 7 silicates and 4 other species that Taiyang had rescued from various situations. The young Magmar that Taiyang had saved from a mine collapse followed him everywhere, communicating through vibrations that Taiyang was slowly learning to understand. Dr. Velis had transformed her career. Her new field of applied xenoempathy was being taught at universities. Accrudants included beings from 12 different species, all learning how to build bridges between biologically different peoples. And the raiders? Word had spread through the criminal networks that sanctuaries were protected, not by weapons or armies, but by families. Families that would fight for each other. Families that were far more dangerous than any individual being, because they combined abilities in unexpected ways. Most raiders decided the risk was not worth it. At the original Haven Sanctuary on Ganymede, Junho sat in the central chamber. Around him, his family was doing what families do. Whisper drifted peacefully through their chamber, colors shifting in contentment. Ember created a new glass sculpture, this one depicting the whole family together. Void's shadow wrapped gently around Junho's shoulders like a comfortable blanket. Chorus was teaching a new arrival how to communicate with the others. The new arrival was a quantum phase being that existed partially in multiple dimensions. Hunyo had just rescued them from a collapsed research station. The being was scared and confused, flickering between realities, but the others were helping, showing the newcomer that this was a safe place. A home Junho's communication device beeped. 4 new rescue requests had come in, a colony of crystalline beings displaced by war, 2 gaseous juveniles separated from their nebula, a dark matter entity injured by illegal mining, and a thermophilic community whose planet was dying. Junho looked at his family. They looked back in their various ways. Light pulses from the crystalline beings, color shifts from Whisper, vibrations from Ember, gravitational nudges from Void. And they all communicated the same message, each in their own language. We will help. That is what family does. Junho smiled. He was not alone in this anymore. None of them were. They had proven that connection was possible across any divide. That love did not require shared biology. That family was not about what you were born as, but what you chose to become together. And as the galaxy slowly learned this lesson, one sanctuary at a time, one species at a time, one bond at a time, it became clear that humanity's greatest gift was not that they could connect with,